My game plan is that just each of you perhaps just go away with 5 ideas, just 5 from this list of 38, 5 that you didn't know before, that you can deploy into your marketing right now that will perhaps increase your conversions, make it more efficient, more effective, more profitable. Sound good? Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Penberthy. I'm the founder of a marketing education company called AdClients.com. We've done over $15 million selling courses and coaching in the past few years. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. I'm making my way to my friend's mastermind that he's hosting about 30 minutes from our offices. So I'm gonna go and join them right now and do a presentation for them. This is a high caliber group of individuals. So I'm not gonna do an entire breakdown of a system. Instead, we're covering 38 conversion hacks to make your business more efficient, more effective, and more profitable. And obviously, look, it's a closed door mastermind. I'm not gonna show you the whole presentation, but I'll show you a couple of the hacks and a couple of the snippets from the event. So come along. Well, let's dive into the actual presentation. So I've called this the 38 conversion frameworks, hacks, and tips to make your marketing more efficient, effective, and profitable. So in a group like this, and at an event like this, you're not really here for an all-in-one system, and I can't teach you that in an hour anyway. I can't walk you through an entire webinar framework in that amount of time. It's not going to be possible. What you need at these types of events is to just go away with just a handful of ideas. So of this 38 that I've put together, my game plan is that just each of you perhaps just go away with 5 ideas. Just 5 from this list of 38, 5 that you didn't know before, that you can deploy into your marketing right now that will perhaps increase your conversions, make it more efficient, more effective, more profitable. Sound good? Yeah? So again, we're just going to rattle through this because I've got an hour, we've got 38, so that's just over a minute per one. So let's dive in. So because we're going to get into what goes into this content piece, this 40 minutes and this 15 to 20 minutes, is something I call the wow, not the how. Okay? The wow, not the how. You essentially show the wow and you sell the how. So what that means is you shouldn't be doing anything in your webinars or your presentations or your content that they could actually go and implement. If you teach them the specific how-tos, you're just doing them a disservice and you're doing yourself a disservice. You can't teach someone the specific how-tos in a shortened time frame like that. So if you even attempt to, you're giving them a false sense of security that they can go do it, and you're also shooting yourself in the foot because you won't get the sale. Which is why I've structured my presentation day in the way that I have. I was thinking, okay, I've got an hour, how can I give the most value? Well, I'll just go through this set of hacks that you can implement a couple of things, because if I tried to teach you a whole webinar process, specifically the hows in an hour, it's not possible. And number 7, this is really, really powerful actually. We've been starting to do this more recently, and this is really, really cool. Create doubt for anything but your solution as much as you're trying to create desire. I really want to let that sink in just for a minute, because we often think that in our presentations, what we're trying to do is create only desire. We want to make sure they can relate to us, that they want what we've got, that they'd be excited to buy at the end. So we often default to just thinking desire, desire, desire. We want them to see us on a pedestal, see our product on a pedestal, and desire is created, right? If we can basically distance, if we create doubt for everything else in the industry, we're creating even more distance from them going back to what they thought they could do. And we're actually, so if they're here right now, okay, in fact, let me do this out real quick. If they're here right now and they could go back to what they were doing before, and your offer's over here, and you're creating desire, 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 desire for your thing, they're still somewhere in the middle, for example. There's some desire, but it's kind of 50-50. I could buy on this webinar, but I could also just go back to what I was doing before. If we start to create doubt for this, why that wouldn't work, why that would be a bad idea, why all of this stuff is a broken system, now we're moving them further and further here where they're going, gosh, I've got doubt. The distance now to our thing has increased. It feels even more exciting. There's even more of whoa, this is amazing. Because they think that would work. It's 50-50. It's actually not. For us, we've tested a lot of webinars versus VSLs. And I can just, from my experience, to tell you, hands down, webinars win every time. A VSL is a video sales letter. Video sales letter, where instead of hosting a webinar, you just say, and this is such a common thing I hear my clients say, it's like, well, if we're going to do a webinar, I'm going to go through that trouble. Why can't I just put a video on a page and let them watch it in their own time? There's so many reasons. I could have 38 reasons just on why you shouldn't do that. But a couple is just you've got no true engagement. You've got no reason for them to stick around. There's no urgency to watch it right now. They're not in a webinar environment where they're glued to it and they can't pause it. And even if you try and hack the system and not let them pause it. Now they just get frustrated that you're not letting them pause a video that's clearly a video on a page. It just doesn't work. So there is a time and a place for a VSL, and you can get them to work, but every single time we've tested a VSL side by side with a webinar for the same offer, a webinar wins. So do with that what you will. A couple of key things on traffic here. First things first, if you're not already, hurry up and get on YouTube ads, okay? It's prime time. This is not to shame anyone, just for my interest. By show of hands, how many of you have run a YouTube ad before? You've got to get on YouTube, like seriously. Like Matt's the master at Facebook ads, and there's still so much merit in Facebook, don't get me wrong, but you are missing a gold rush right now if you don't at least add in YouTube to what you're already doing. The traffic is so high value. If you're doing any sales funnel that involves them watching, consuming content, you need their attention, YouTube is a perfect match for webinars and VSLs if you're going to do that, presentations, content, because just by being on YouTube, it's a different type of social platform. Facebook, think about it. What are they doing? Scroll, 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 scroll. And you've got to just hope you can get their attention to stop them, and then maybe in a few seconds get a click. Do you think the value of that click is higher or lower than someone who's on a platform watching 5 to 10 minute videos, click play, probably fold their arms or have a drink in their hand? They're not scrolling, they're waiting and watching, right? Higher value over here, yeah? And so it's a nice match for webinars. They're demonstrating they like to consume content, and now you're inviting them into a sales funnel where they can consume some more content. So the value is very, very high. We're getting a little bit advanced here. Do you mind if I get a little bit advanced? Yeah, okay. If this overwhelms you, then, or you don't know how you would implement this, then just forget it and use one of the other 38. But basically, with targeting, look, gosh, I don't even know what the numbers are. We've done a lot of advertising on YouTube and Facebook. We've spent a crap ton of cash. So we've tested this. And traditionally with paid ads, the way we think about paid ads is we're going to put an ad together and we're going to target someone really specifically. So we're going to just target a keyword, right? Like I'm wanting to, I don't know, target a parent with a teenage kid. So I'm trying to think of a keyword that a parent might type in. Whereas we don't actually want to do that as much anymore. The reach is not there if we're just targeting keywords. If we can find some good keywords, great. That's very specific. What we like to do right now is go far wider with our marketing message, far wider with our targeting, and let our message be really specific to call out certain people. So let's illustrate this real quick. Let's say that is your why. That's a pretty good circle.
That's impressive. Well done.
Let's say, thank you very much. We actually were practicing in the office the other day. Let's say this is your wider audience, okay? This is your entire industry. Let's just use this as an example. And let's say of everyone in your industry, that right there is your dream client. Like there's a whole bunch of them in there. If this was 1 million people, right, then that's, I don't know, there's 50,000 people right there that are just perfect. They would be great, right? But of course, there's lots of other pockets of people that are in this wider market. And so if you create a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad, and you try and get really specific to these people, then you are going to pay more, you're going to find it harder to find them, and you're going to dry up that market really quickly, yeah? Or dry up that audience really quickly. Whereas what we find works better is that we go really broad with an ad. So we're going to target a much broader market that, stick with me, we know is going to be shown to people that are not a good fit. We know that. We're putting an ad out there to a much broader market, but this right here is so specific that the wrong people are skipping. So if this group of people see this ad, because I'm targeting everyone, if it's not specific, they're going to skip. No problem. I'm happy with you skipping. These people are going to relate to that message, so I'm going to get the tick from them. They're going to watch that ad, maybe click, maybe move through. But I've got cheaper traffic, because oftentimes if you show an ad platform that you know exactly who you want, they charge a premium for it. If we go broader, we often get cheaper traffic, and then we're still getting them anyway. And perhaps we'll pick up an audience we didn't even think of, but they were perfect because they connected with our message. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Pretty advanced, pretty high level. This is a scaling strategy. You're going to go through 20, 30, 40 minutes of content on a webinar or a presentation or whatever the case may be. And your audience primarily are only going to remember the last thing you spoke about. right? It's only going to be the last 2-3 minutes. Like, I don't even know what's coming up last, but my final 3 or 4 points is probably the thing that's going to be stuck in your head the most because it's the last thing I mentioned, right? And so at the end of your content, right before you go in and offer, what don't you want? Let's just see if anyone gets it. Like, what is one thing that they could have in their head that you don't want? They're not going to buy if they feel.
They can do it themselves.
Yes, but that's not the one I'm looking for. Pretty much, like confused, overwhelmed, right? Confused is the one. Have you heard the phrase, a confused mind never buys? Yeah? So if you get to the end of content, they might feel like it was kind of good, but it's all a bit of a frazzle. And so then you're going into an offer, but they're still trying to piece together all of the content that you shared. So what I do at the end is I do a recap of everything I kind of spoke about and summarize it in like 2 minutes. Because now I've taken everything that I've just shared that they could have been confused about, I've summarized it quickly. Now my summary is the last thing that they heard. So now they're far more, they're well better positioned to make a buying decision.